Hi guys! So today I will be doing Baby Name Buzz's name tag, which I was tagged in. I was so excited to be tagged in it because I've never been tagged in anything before. I believe that she's calling it the hashtag Buzz tag. I encourage all of you to do it as well. If you hear that noise, that's my cat. I don't know why she makes those weird noises, but she does whenever she sees a bird or anything like that, and so we're just gonna have to deal with it because she will not be quiet. Okay, so the first question in this name tag is, when did you first start loving names? And for me, I can't remember a time when I didn't love names. For as long as I can remember, I always remember being fascinated with names and asking people what they were named and how they got that name and all that other stuff. Yeah, when I was younger in elementary school, when I was on the playground, I used to rename people in my head what I thought suited them better. Yeah, I've always been all about names, but I definitely got into names seriously and started actually becoming an informed namer when I was around 12 years old, and I was trying to find names for characters in my stories. I would look up names and meanings to try to find the perfect name for them that would suit them the best. And yeah, that's when I really got into names. The second question is, what is the first name that you remember loving? For me, that is definitely Hyacinthia. Hyacinthia, I love this name because when I was younger, I used to read the Babysitter's Little Sister books, and in one of the books, I believe it's called Karen's Doll or something like that. Karen, the main character, she gets this doll and she names her Hyacinthia. And she was originally just going to name the doll Cynthia. Then she said to the doll, "Hiya, Cynthia," and that's how Hyacinthia got her name. So then I named my doll Hyacinthia too because I'm such a sheep. The third question is, what is your favorite sibset of someone you know? Out of people that I know in real life, honestly, most of the siblings I know have like really boring names or names that I don't feel go that well together. I think the most interesting sibset that I've ever met, it was Journey and Briggs, and the girl was Journey and the boy was Briggs, and I always thought that was a really interesting and cool sounding sibset, probably the best sibset I've ever heard. The fourth question is, what is your favorite foreign name for boys and for girls, and would you actually use those names? My favorite foreign name for boys is definitely Søren. It's a Danish and Norwegian variation of Severus, meaning stern. If I was to ever use it, I would probably anglicize it to Soren because that would be easier for people to pronounce and spell and all that. I do think it's a really adorable name, especially because I love Severus Snape from Harry Potter, so that could be kind of like a little inside reference for me. Yeah, I do think it's a really nice name. I don't know if I'd ever use it though. For girls, I really love Ottilie. Ottilie is a German and French name meaning prosperous in battle. I definitely really love the name Ottilie, mainly because I love the nickname Otter, and I love the possibility of using that as a nickname for a child because I think it's so adorable. Once again, I'm not sure if I would ever use it. There is some spelling / pronunciation issues. I think some people pronounce it Ottilia and some people pronounce it Ottilie, and I don't know which one is right. I prefer Ottilie, but Ottilia is pretty too. But I don't know how really you're supposed to pronounce it. That's the issue with foreign names, pronunciation, spelling, etc. It's very difficult. Question number 5 is, name kids with the same initials as your top names, but use names that are not in your tops. Now, I don't actually have an ordered favorite combo list. I just have a list of combos that I like. They're not in any particular order, so I just chose a random one. For girls, one of my favorite combos is Imogen Meadow, and so instead I did India Maeve. And for boys, one of my favorite combos is Archibald Stone, and so instead I did Alistair Sparrow. And those are all names that I actually really like now. Like, I didn't really think of any of them before, but now I'm quite fond of those new combos. The next question is, you are naming boy-girl twins after yourself. How would you go about that? This one was also tricky because my full name is Jenna Amanda Lee, and I really hate my middle name, so I couldn't really do anything with that. But for a girl, I would probably do Genevieve Fable. Jenna's sort of a diminutive of Genevieve, so I felt like that would work well as an honor name. And Fable, I really like stories and storytelling and writing, so I feel like that's sort of a way to honor me as well. And for boys, I did Brendan Lee because my last name is Lee, and my parents were actually going to call me Brendan if I was a boy. The seventh question is, what is your biggest guilty pleasure name? Definitely Ender. I love the name Ender. It's a Turkish name meaning rare, and I really like it because of the Ender's Game association, but at the same time it's not that usable. A lot of people find it very off-putting. Yeah. The eighth question is, what is your favorite letter for names? I don't really have a favorite letter for names. That's kind of awkward because I know, like, I do these name videos on YouTube. I'm supposed to be like really into names and have all my favorites hammered out, but I don't really have a specific favorite letter. I think if I had to choose, I'd probably say M or I, and that's just by looking at like lists of my favorite names and noticing that I have mostly, like, those are the ones that stick out the most, the M's and the I's. Question number 9 is, name a boy and a girl after a place that has special meaning to you. This was probably the hardest question on this whole thing, and a lot of these questions were very tough. I don't really have a place that has special meaning to me. I haven't traveled that much. I'm only 20, so like I have a lot of time still left to travel. I've traveled to some places, but really the only place that's special to me is Canada. I like Canada. It's my home country. It's where I live. So I decided that I would just do Canadian themed names for this. So for girls, I did Victoria Maple. Victoria because Queen Victoria, and also because that was the street that I lived on when I was young. And Maple because maple trees, Canadian stuff, maple syrup. Victoria Maple, I actually like that, it's very pretty. And for boys, I did Hudson Frost, and I actually really love the name Hudson. I was actually telling my boyfriend just last week that I wish that Hudson wasn't so popular because it's such a sweet name. And I did Hudson because Hudson Bay and the Hudson Bay Company, very Canadian, and Frost because it gets pretty chilly here in Canada. Yeah, so that was kind of fun, I thought. Victoria Maple and Hudson Frost. And the final question is, what would you name a boy and a girl right now? Now, this changes all the time. Like, day to day, I will say a different thing because my ideas about names and my favorite names are constantly like moving around. I don't have one finite list. So yeah, if I was to have a kid right now, if it was a girl, I would probably name her Isadora Thisbe. I think that is a really beautiful combo. I've had that on my favorite combos list for over a year now. It's the one that stayed the longest, I think. And for boys, I would definitely name a boy Edmund William, if I had one right now. Obviously, this is probably going to change. Like, I think I did a question like this just like 2 weeks ago, and it has already changed, so it changes a lot. Yeah, so that is all for today. I definitely encourage you to do this name tag. I will leave a clean version of it in the comments so you can like copy and paste it if you want. You can write it out, you can do a video, you can put it on your blog, do whatever you want, and let Baby Names Buzz know if you do it. I'm sure it'll make her happy. Yeah,